All right. All right. All right. How you doing? You well? You well? Are you happy? Are you happy? The restrictions have been lifted. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Lifted. Do-do-do-do. Lifted. Me on mine lifted. Bradka lifted. Lifted. About time. About bloody time. I'm not even giving them credit. I'm just saying that's what they did. Those two pigs. Me on Martin, you goddamn pig, man. And I tell you, the first place I'm going is Coppers, man. Oh my god, man. I know the pints are shite, man, but oh my god, they crack. No, I don't know what I'll do. Do you know, I'm actually really worried about the phone mode I'm going to get. This is how my mind works. I'm totally not relieved at all about the fact that I get to do my job in comedy. I'm not focused on the fact that all of my friends in comedy get to continue and actually get paid. I'm not focused on the fact that my tour actually gets to happen. The fact that I get to kind of go out, see my friends. All I'm focused on is the FOMO. That I'm going to have that I didn't have for the month of January when everyone was all indoors. That's my only priority is avoiding FOMO. And is that healthy? I don't think so, you know. People haven't seen each other in months. People aren't getting paid. So that is the main focus here. But I tell you, it will. The FOMO will. That's the obvious thing. It's obviously that's great, right? That goes without saying. That's obvious that's great that I get to continue my career. But I tell you, don't mind the bloody Ibiza foam party. More like the bloody FOMO party. I'm there in my bikini up to my neck in FOMO while they're blaring David Guetta. You know, don't mind going up a hill having some magic mushrooms at the Copenhagen full moon party. I'm talking about eating some regular portobello mushrooms at home as I look on Instagram at the FOMO party where all the pints that I'm not at. And it's not that I'm not invited. It's just like, look, it's not that. No, it's good that we all get to continue. And actually, anyway, Tony Bloody Houlihan, Tony Bloody Hula Hoop, man, Hula Girl, more like. We're all having a party. No, listen, come here to me. How are you? You well? Look, I have a great guest today. It's Shane Daniel Byrne. And he's a funny man. He's a funny fucker. Sorry for swearing. I'm never swearing again, 2022. But he's a very funny man. And I could talk to him for hours. I've become pally with him in the last year or two, and because we worked on the odd thing, and he's just a great man to chat to. He came in to talk about the Scouts, and what's weird is, right, I went to Scouts, and I always viewed myself as like a kind of, I talk about it, like I paint a picture of me being a kind of chubby frigid, afraid of girls, not doing sports, and I kind of paint myself, not as a kind of a Todd Phillips outcast freak, but as kind of, I suppose a bit of a loner, a bit of a weirdo, maybe a bullied. But talking to him about Scouts, and I remember all the things that I did, and these are the stories that we've all been kind of like dining out on, me and my friends, about what times we were in Scouts. Realize I'm a fucking asshole. I was an asshole. He's telling me these amazing stories about how he would do, like, setting up camps and stuff like that. He would kind of like put on a show for like the 14, or 12 and 11-year-olds, while he was like the fire pit master, him and his friend. They'd kind of do bits and they'd sing songs, be a little bit risque, but not too bad for the kids. I just think this was brilliant. And I'm thinking, I remember those guys. I used to shout at them and ruin their fun. Not me personally, but maybe being in a group that would do that, But there's me being insecure, trying to be liked by these people, And I tell you, he just made me realize he's a man. He went to a good Protestant scouting group, which is the way you should do. None of this kind of self-doubting, Catholic shite. You know what I mean? Just, I'm getting too deep already in this, but just I found it just he had a scouting experience that was like, I'm actually going to get into this. I'm going to do the things, but we're still going to have a bit of fun. We just went in pure anarchy. We just couldn't treat anything on the level of like sincerity. That's why that film, that Tim Heidecker movie that he's in, the comedy, rings so true with me, because it's just these giant man-children who just live in a perpetual state of irony, and I used to relate to that. Just be in the pocket. Anyway, it was a great chat. And we also had a really nice chat about just the mental health of being a comedian, I asked how him writing his show was going, because I'm writing my show at the moment, and just the dread that you can feel, and just you feel like a fraud, that kind of imposter syndrome. And And it was funny that even after the podcast, he was talking, and I was like, oh my God, he's so funny. I'm so shit, right? That's what I'm thinking while he's talking, you know? And then after he finishes, and we stopped recording, he was like, oh, sorry about that. That probably wasn't particularly interesting. And I was all like, who's getting the payoff for all this doubt? Me thinking I'm shit and not as good as him while he's talking, and him telling me that he didn't think what he was saying was interesting. Like, who's getting the payoff here? All there is just a big Charlie Brown cloud over two very enthusiastic men's heads. And it was a really nice chat. He's a very fun guy. He has a gig on Saturday, March 26th. It is the same day as my Vicar Street show, but if you're not going to that, I highly recommend you go to his show in the Liberty Hall Theatre. He was telling me about some of the stuff he has planned, and it sounds like a really fun show. So I highly recommend you check him out. And also, he'll be doing gigs. Look out on his social media at Shane Dan Byrne on Instagram, because I'm sure he'll be doing gigs. Also, I'm talking about Shane's show. I've got a tour, Pony, and I know you were hesitant to buy tickets because you weren't necessarily sure what was going to happen with the restrictions, but guess what? It's fine now. All the gigs are going to go according to plan. It's a very exciting time. Pony is kicking off in Westport on the 25th of February. That's Friday, the 25th of February in the Town Hall in Westport. The next night, February 26th in Galway in the Black Box. Then on Friday, March 4th in Dolan's in Limerick. Had such a wonderful time the last time I was there. Then the 24th of March, Vicar Street. That is still the only Vicar Street that's available now, and tickets are flying for that, so you'll want to get in there quick. Then a bit of a break on the 21st of April in the Spirit Store in Dundalk. Then April 24th in the Set Theatre in Kilkenny. That's a Sunday. April 28th in Greystones in the Whale Theatre. May 1st, Cork. Big massive show in the Everyman Theatre. Very excited about that. And that'll be the end of the tour. So do go onto Linktree, my Linktree, for all the links to those tickets. That's linktr.ee/Tony Horror. linktr.ee/Tony Horror, or just the link in my Instagram bio for all of those tickets. Anyway, here, Shane's going to chat to you now. Bye-bye. How was your writing? Well, maybe we can get into it here. Shane, you've just come back from your writer's retreat.
Yes.
In prep for your show. Self-imposed. Yeah.
I was excited because it had a stove. Thing. So she was like, first fire's on us. And I was like, great, thanks so much. And then I went and burnt it all and had a fire 24 hours a day. So that was kind of, and then I would put the things in the fire and then watch the fire, watch the things, then open the gate, watch all that. So that mainly did. But like writing shows, like it's all well and good to go see a show, see comedies. Like this is fun, but it's so miserable on the other side. Everything before that's so crap.
Yeah.
Being a comedian or being a performer, whatever, it's like, this is crap. Oh yeah, you have to sit on your own. You have like post-its because you think that'll help, and then you don't use the post-its, and then you spend half an hour putting the like, remember you're doing your study in school and you wouldn't study because you'd make the timetable of study with the
it's perfectly like lined,
really good lines,
highlighted.
Yeah, and sellotaping piece of paper together. But then actually making a show was like, oh, this is dull. I'm not funny. I'm not even nice. You know what I mean?
I'm not even nice.
Yeah, I'm not even
a nice man.
I'm not a nice man. I'm not a good person. So why would I do this? Like, I'm pathetic. Like, what an idiot.
Realistically, it's the half an hour after the show, isn't it? That's the only good part.
Oh yeah, that's lovely. After a good one.
Yeah, after a good one.
Like many of them are like fine.
Yeah.
You perform and you're like, yeah, that was fine. They enjoyed it, but I could have done better. They don't know I could have done better, but still, yeah, go on, a few things to work out.
Yeah.
And you go back and you write in your little notebook, and then you kind of enjoy it. And then someone says, well done, that was great. And you go, oh, thanks so much. And then you feel great for 30 seconds, and then it's like, well, I'm pathetic, and I'm going to castrate myself.
When I was doing a bit of therapy,
that's hot. Right?
It's hot. I've jacked it in though. I'm doing guitar lessons instead now this year.
That's the same.
It is to me.
No, that's the same.
You know, it's just all about expressing yourself, and I'm choosing sound, music this
sonically,
time.
Yeah.
No, but my therapist did actually point out, which maybe I'm thinking I shouldn't have quit it. He was like, you do realize every time you, like if I meet you on a Tuesday, if you've had a gig over the weekend, you say it's bad. He said, when you're always saying it's bad. And I was like, and then we have this conversation over and over. It's like, well, did people like it? Yeah. And do you think people knew that it was bad? And like, no. And it's the same, like this exact same cycle. I find getting off a stage, someone's like, that was a great show. I'm like, what are you getting me down? Why are you trying to get me down?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to wind me up?
You have to be careful your therapist doesn't become your comedy coach.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Comedy's very emotional and everything.
Yeah.
In terms of what you put yourself through, but that's not what therapy is for. It's for the rest of your stuff.
It is.
You can't just
Yeah.
go like, well, God. I was like, I liked it. I don't know. Yeah, you can't. Anyway, but that's great.
Yeah.
I hope the guitar lessons are going well.
No, they're going really well. I learned She's So Heavy by the Beatles. So I was, I'm into the Beatles again after the Get Back documentary.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, it's good. I think actually, funnily enough, you might find, okay, that was a big roll of your eyes.
No, I just am one of those assholes who's like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, fair.
I saw a tweet about Euphoria and it was like a girl happily asleep. And it was like, this is me not watching Euphoria.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw someone do the same tweet about Wordle, and I was like, you're an idiot. Wordle is great.
Wordle is great.
Yeah, whatever.
I often find, the big thing was Game of Thrones, and everyone was all like, I just couldn't. And I'm like, well, fine, there's plenty of us. We don't need you. We don't need you. Turned out that person was right, and that the juice was not worth the squeeze at all.
I actually liked Game of Thrones. I was like you. I held off for years. And then I did a radio play with Jack Gleeson, Joffrey.
Ah.
And I've tried, in my not watching of Game of Thrones, I tried not to be, I don't watch it, I don't know, I'd never seen an episode. I tried so hard to do that. When you're with King Joffrey, that's a really hard task to go, I haven't, like, you want him to know you haven't seen it so that you don't think of him as a famous celebrity.
Yeah, you might think that they might flatter him, or it might kind of lower his guard.
Yes, I don't want him to think like, this guy, he thinks I'm great. I don't want him to think that, but I also don't say, I don't know, I've never seen it. Never seen it. This is a new thing I found when I started getting followers on Instagram, big numbers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That I was at a party for Pride outside, socially distant.
Okay,
and
sure.
Somebody was saying to me, someone hadn't seen in like a year. She's like, it's mad, your Instagram, you're doing all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's deadly. And we're just chatting about it or whatever. And this other girl just like elbows her way into the conversation, was like, sorry, I don't know if this is rude, but I don't know who you are at all. I was like, okay, I don't know who you are either. Like, why are you? I was like, we're just chatting because we're friends, and this is my news. Like, she's telling me about her own work as well. I was like, we're catching up.
Yeah.
We're at a party. That's what it's for. It's not me sitting there holding court, going, and then I got 20,000.
Well, you should have brought your own dry ice machine. That was you're kind of pushing it. Spotlight and dry ice.
I wouldn't have worked because we're outdoors. I left it at home.
Have you ever had a situation where someone recognizes you from your videos and they're like, oh, that's Shane Dan Byrne, and then someone's, and they're like, oh my God, do you not know who he is?
Oh, I haven't had that, no.
Oh, well, I find it weird when someone's like, do you not know who he, like, and I feel like I'm not who.
Yeah, just leave it. You just say hello. That's
exactly.
fine.
I would never pull do you know who I am? Who I am, as if other people aren't whose. Do you know what I mean?
You don't know who he is?
You don't know who he is?
No. I did have a drink with our comedy brother, Killian Sunderman, and when you're with him,
it's the thirst trap.
Everyone knows who Killian is. All different types of people.
Yeah.
I usually get like, Rachel's, Laura's, Sarah's going, love just stuff. Oh my God, love Shannon. That's who I usually talk to on the street. But everyone knows Killian. Everyone does. And then sometimes they know you as well, and that's nice. But sometimes they say, but Killian said, the waitress said, the barmaid, she said to Killian, I'm a big fan, by the way. And he went, oh, thanks so much. And do you know Shane? And she went, no. And I was like, shut up. Why are you bringing me into this?
But that's so him. Like, he doesn't act like he has 250,000 people who know who he is. If not more, if not a full mill.
Yeah, that's what I say about him. I was like,
I think he found it at the perfect age, and he's the perfect person to handle it. Because I would be an asshole.
Yeah, those people who you'd say, like, when you meet them, you genuinely would say to someone, you'd come home to your wife or whatever and say, he's lovely. Oh, he's really lovely.
Yeah.
That's what, he's one of those people that's genuinely just extremely nice.
Yeah. He makes me kind of feel, because I'm not nearly as popular as he is in terms of his reach. And the way I act is so uncalled for. If he acts like that with that reach, the way I talk to some people on, 3 Mobile trying to get a reduced bill.
Do you say this is Tony Cantwell?
No, I don't say this is Tony Cantwell, but I mean, I do. I mean, just I'm an asshole.
In general. Oh, I thought you were dropping your name for.
Well, look, I have, I do a lot of my customer queries through Instagram.
Yeah, I do that as well.
I do just in case. Look, I am not so vacuous as to be swayed by a blue tick, but if someone is, then I wouldn't mind.
It can work out badly, though.
It worked to my favor.
Because I bought a meal kit. Remember those things they had in the lockdowns?
Yeah.
And then I did a joke on Twitter saying I didn't know I had to cook this food. What a jip! This is a rip off or whatever. An €80 chore, I think, is what I said. And then the man from the restaurant DM'd me. I didn't say the restaurant's name, obviously, and he was like, "Hi, this is such and such. I'm from this restaurant, and I'm the manager, and also the person who gave you that kit earlier this evening." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So I've learned to be very well behaved from now on.
You should have said, "Look, I've been looking for you. It was fucking raw."
No, it was funny. It was funny. We had a good time about it.
Yeah,
and it was funny, and the food was delicious. So, but I can't recommend them because I slagged them. But
Name and Shame.
If anyone wants to DM me of a good restaurant, let me know.
Sorry, can I recommend a podcast? Name and Shane.
Okay, good. Write it down.
Yeah, right.
I'm writing it down.
Okay. You people come on your podcast and they name people specifically. They accuse.
They just name people. Yeah.
Well, no, they accuse people. They accuse people of like bad service, snubbing them. Maybe someone in RTE who was like a bit rude to them.
I'll tell you this off air. I'll tell you when we're finished recording. I'll tell you a good one of them.
Oh,
someone gave me one the other day. No,
can you tell me and I'll bleep it out?
Well, okay, it's quite long. The person is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my friend was outside. This celebrity was outside a pub where he was working, my friend, and he was speaking to one of the celebrity's colleagues who he is friends with.
Yeah.
And the celebrity turned around and didn't know that he was friends with this woman. Turned around and went, "Sorry, can you just go away and stop annoying us, please?" And then turned back around to her celebrity business.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'll never tell anybody who that is, and I'm really just put a lot of trust in you that you'll bleep that name out. I will bleep that.
Well, look, just so I can give you one, just to show that I will have to do my due diligence. Yeah. I worked for RTE doing.
Okay, so me too. So no big deal. Okay.
Did you hear the thud of my penis I just put down on the table? I worked for RTE doing the continuity announcing.
Oh yeah.
For a brief time, and the person in charge of that was wife. And I know, so I won't ever say the name.
I can't say anything about it because it'll give it away. Right, I
know
as well.
But they said to me, they called me in a flutter saying, "Can you get this voiceover done?" And normally when you go through the voiceover agent, it has to be at least 24 hours. And I said, "No, I'm sorry, but I can do it in the morning." And they said, "All right, fine. Well, look, maybe just we can find someone who is available going forward. Maybe someone who is committed." And was essentially going to sack me. And then I acted like a big child. And I said, oh no, I will do it today. And I was going to name and shame that person. But now, God, no. Jesus Christ, they've enough on their plate.
You can't now?
They've enough on their plate. I'm going to have to bleep a lot out of that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I couldn't say anything because we can piece two and two together.
Yeah. Shane, you are here to talk about Scouts.
Yes.
I like to have people on to kind of speak enthusiastically, emphatically about something that they're interested in. I've had Pete on talking about westerns and McGarren about bad movies and Alison Spittle about quiz shows. Scouting is what you've chosen. Scouting Ireland specifically?
That's the first thing. Yeah, Scouting Ireland. There's only one organisation now, Scouting Ireland. That's the first thing that came into my head because...
Great. That's always first idea.
I know, yeah, but see, I'm nervous about it because Peter was so he's so wonderfully well read and intellectual about his film theory and all those kind of things. I didn't listen to Alison because I don't listen to women on the airwaves.
Fair, yeah.
Just too shrill. I don't. Oh my God, stop! Oh my God, don't edit that any funny way. I love Alison Spittle. But I will catch up with the podcast. Oh my God, what have I done?
Oh my God.
But yeah, it came into my head because a lot of it's a funny thing to be involved in Scouts when you're a kid because it's a secret, right? Mm-hmm. Because, well, unless some people are really brave about it and just talk about being in Scouts. But in my generation, it was, you did not speak about it. Mm-hmm. If there was someone from your Scouts in your year in school, you did not speak, or in your school at all, even a different year, you did not acknowledge each other.
Just put the 3 fingers up, do the little salute on the slide.
No, you didn't even. Nothing. No fingers, no nothing. Oh God, what am I saying? You had to be a secret. And then suddenly as you become liberated from that, as you're older, it's like, you know what? That was great. I loved it. What a great time as you get older. And no one, but I don't know. I feel like I still carry some kind of Scout shame.
So
and I'm a gay man. I am a gay man. I have enough shame to be dealing with to last a lifetime. Yet I take on. But no, this is.
So you're here to do away with the Scout shame.
Yeah, and then as you get older, teenager and into your 20s, people then talk about like they know you were in the Scouts, and they think you can do every knot that was ever invented by any sailor or whatever, and they think you know all about stuff. Now, I do know some stuff, but I don't know every knot.
I'm interested in hearing that. I have found as I've gotten a bit older, I was also in the Scouts. I pretty much just joined late when it was. So I joined briefly, and I was hugely unfit for it. And I had one really bad survivalist weekend where I don't know if it was a bit of hazing or something, but basically the Scout leaders, to kind of like introduce me to the world of scouting, filled up my whole with my will all the eggs for like the meals. And I was carrying about 100 eggs, in my pack, and then I fell down a mountain.
Oh no!
And I smashed all the eggs, and I was like on the road, like and it was like in the middle, and I had to pick me up because it was cars, but to run me over because I couldn't.
And all your stuff was covered in eggs.
And all the stuff was covered with eggs, and also that was like everyone's food was just these eggs. They tried to bury a chicken with embers. Have you done that? And they tried to cook it, and then the chicken was just red raw. So no one had anything to eat. And so it was kind of like, it felt like Full Metal Jacket. It felt like a bit of hazing going in. Then the next morning, everyone was ashamed of me because I didn't have any eggs. So I didn't go back to scouting until we went to Ventures. My friends were like, no, come on back. We're just going on the piss now.
Yeah, that's what I had in my head. So there's two lives. I have two chapters of my scouting life. One is as a child and as a cub and a scout, and then the Ventures, which is a whole other world.
Yes.
Which isn't, people don't know as much about Ventures. Ventures is basically, now I think it's 16 to 18, but at the time it was 16 to 22. I don't know, that was different, but anyway, things have changed. But I'm sworn by the Scout law, and a Scout is a friend to all Scouts, but those leaders sound like they're bad. That's what.
Well, do you know what?
If that's your first go, I wouldn't have done, like, playing tricks and stuff is part of it. But I think to someone who joins new, and then you hold all the eggs as a prank thing.
I mean, maybe it was kind of like, Tony, you've got the very important job here of carrying everyone's food. And then I arrive with the 100 eggs, and I'm like, yeah. I don't know if that's the situation. So, but I was so on, like,
Was it all boys?
No, there was boys and girls, and the girls, to be fair, they were stopping to kind of help me because I was like really struggling. I was like breathing heavy. This is probably at my most unfit. Now I could walk, like walk for Ireland now.
Okay,
I can walk long distances now. But yeah, so then I was kind of scared by it. But the reason I was in Scouts, and now I kind of regret not taking it seriously for stuff like the knots, and I only know how to tie my shoes or do a double knot that no one's ever going to open again.
Yeah. But that's just granny knot stuff. Can you do a reef knot?
No.
Tie two pieces of rope together.
Smoke a reef knot.
Hey. Well, we can do both of those after.
Thank you.
But no, we won't because I'm driving. Listen, and also I don't smoke drugs. I really genuinely don't know why I'm making such a fuss.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just think I came into it. My brother was already there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's the oldest, and I'm next. So obviously, he hates me a lot. So that's fair enough. So we barely spoke throughout the years being there. But I feel like a lot of me was who I am today was born through being in the Scouts. I think that's where I was like burst into life and blossomed. I didn't have sports teams. I didn't have school chums, really. My best friend in school was my cousin. What a loser. 2 cousins going around. And then he left school to go somewhere else, whatever.
So what kind of scouting activities? When I think of Scouts, I think of playing on the table. I think of playing, cone games and stuff like that. What about yourself was kind of, what did you most enjoy? What were you like, oh, actually, this is a side of me now. This is me. Yeah,
I found this like where I was very good boy in school and absolute angel that the teacher would be, all that stuff, a treasure, a pet, he's a dream in the class, all that stuff. And I was like the little head boy loser in school. But in Scouts, I discovered being bold, and I thought this was fantastic. So I was like cheeky and quick, and a lot of and taking the piss out of finding a way to achieve taking the piss out of older boys and winning.
Yeah,
like that's a very powerful position. Yes. If you're 12 and someone is 14 or 15 and you've taken them down a peg, that's frightening for older boys.
It is.
Nobody wants that emasculation. So I became powerful.
But it is a safe place to battle your wits, because you kind of won't get your head kicked in, really. I mean, unless the leaders are doing their job, everything is on display. And, and the leaders kind of present the thing of there is it is kind of equals within reason, until you're kind of at attention or somewhere,
Yeah, yeah.
But they if they're a cool leader, they're kind of like, hey, we're on the level. They talk they talk back to you, you talk back to them.
Yeah.
You can kind of flesh out a bit more than the kind of just authority that you get from school.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was. Yeah, in school is sit down, be quiet, do that.
Yeah.
Whereas there is a bit more room for rough and tumble. Kind of like I suppose it's like being on a sports team. The sports team has a manager a coach or whatever.
Apparently,
But
no, I
it's-
wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, neither would I. Try some. What was I thinking?
What did you try?
I tried football. I tried Gaelic in school, but we didn't really play. We weren't really a sporting school. But I tried those things, but I was like, didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And I'd be like a sub, and they'd be like, we're going to bring it on for the last few minutes. And I'd be like, oh, fine. I don't know. I'm like, whatever. Ran around a bit. I didn't really do anything or kick the ball ever.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I tried rugby and I broke a guy's leg. I tried out for Clontarf rugby team and I broke their star player's leg and I never went back.
At what age did you break a person's leg?
I tackled him because, and it was like a very, very low tackle towards his knees. And I broke his leg. It was the first thing. It was like, he's going to run out here. And he was like, getting ready to like kind of like pretend to kind of go down with me, And I went really heavy at him and I broke his leg and I didn't go back.
You withdrew yourself. Yeah.
I withdrew myself.
Yeah.
Tried out for basketball after seeing Space Jam. And I tell you, it's pretty high, that basket. And I don't have I don't have stretchy arms. They didn't then anyway,
Never my dream. The kish fell. We tried to play it in school. If you didn't play football in school, PE in school was just a man whose job it was to give you a football. What a crook! What a thief!
What a crook!
Like there's so many of those PE teachers who are like, here's a ball, and he gets a full job, salary, pension, and he's there 40 years, so he's max up the top of the pay scales, doing nothing. Unbelievable. Games master.
Yeah, that's
Games master. What is that? Games master. Get out of here.
How were you in the bleep test?
Oh, I was good at those kind of things.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was good at the bleep test. I was in the last few for that. I ran cross country once.
Yeah.
The reason he picked it is because one day he made us run the laps, and then he said everyone stop, and then we stopped, and then he just went up to people who were at the front and sent us off to cross country. The next week was like, you're all going to Phoenix Park to run cross. No training, no practice, nothing. It was just like we just went and ran. Didn't know what to do. Just ran as fast as we could. Didn't know how long. It was. Just keep following the flags. Just keep running. We hadn't a clue.
You were a very fit guy. You are. I mean, when we were even doing the Dubliner photo shoot, I mean, I think you did like 50 takes of you jumping up in the air, waving the rainbow flag, and you didn't break a sweat. You weren't out of breath.
Oh yeah, I'm not fit at the moment, but I did gymnastics as a kid as well. That's where I was actually quite good at that. So I have some gold medals from that.
Yeah.
If you want to see some gymnastics, come see my live show on March 26th. There's some in that. But yeah, I did that. So yeah, that was when I was in primary school. So then, but my main thing then, before even drama came or whatever, that it was Scouts. That was my main thing of who I was and was. I would be looking. Ours was on a Friday night, and I'd be spending the whole week. It was so nice having it on Friday because then it's the end of your week, and school is miserable and awful, and then you get to go somewhere brilliant where you're good. Now, I was bold in the sense of like I was cheeky and bold, but I wasn't like a bully or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now, looking back, I've talked to friends recently. It was like, sounds like we did a bit of bullying.
Yeah.
It's like, wait
it is
a
mad
minute.
when you say those things out loud and you're like,
yeah.
And we used to kind of, jock this guy and put eggs on his head.
Yeah. We burnt his pubes. And he was asleep. It's like, wait a minute. Backtrack. But there's a certain part of it, there's a certain element of rough and tumble that is good. Yeah. I don't know how you draw the line, but like we used to.
Well, you try and defend it now and you're like, no, but he actually was erect the head.
Yeah.
You're like with your adult brain because you're trying to
he was
not be a bully.
I have someone in mind who exactly
no, me too.
That.
We have a guy. Yeah.
But we used to do a thing. Like I asked my friend about it. One thing we did was, well, I didn't do this one, but someone did. He put on the way home from our summer camp in Austria, put in the top of someone's bag condoms because everyone bought condoms for some reason, or there was free condoms or something. Or we drove to Austria on buses from Dublin we drove there on buses, and then somebody put like a condom in his top of his bag and then put sun cream in the condom as if that is what sperm looks like. But put it in. Anyway, the boy's mother told me years later that she opened it up and she was just laughing about it. She opened his bag and she laughed or whatever. But the boy apparently was so angry and he said, let's say the villain's name was Tony Campbell. He opened it up. She went, "What is this?" And he went, "Tony Cantwell." Apparently that's what it was like. So that's quite good. But no, he's recovered now. He works as a doctor. So
really?
Yeah, he's doing great.
That's great. I mean, that's a gentle ribbing. That's It was always just the people who got it were the people who just would be prone to aggression quite quick.
Sometimes
that's what I found.
Yeah, we did. There's one that is what I've seen. That bus trip, driving on that bus to Austria, was insane because you're on it for more than 24 hours, and you're young and have never really stayed up all night properly, really. And then you get so confused because you don't know which day is which. And you're like, is this the same day as yesterday? And then you're kind of tired and delirious and have been on two boats.
Yeah.
And they did this thing where they poured. Most people were asleep, and they poured water on this guy's crotch. To make it look like he'd wet himself, then woke him up, but everyone else pretended to be asleep, but like had like one eyes kind of what is it, a little bit open, and watching the reaction of someone who's like 14, going, "Oh my god, I've wet my pants." It's terrible. The poor boy. Now he laughs about it now too, but yeah, that happened. And on that same trip, they did this thing where we used to do toothpaste each other, is what we called it. So if you're in a hostel or you're in tents, whatever, you'd put toothpaste on their head or hair or whatever, or various bits. And there was one guy who was particularly maniacal. He was brilliant. And he like one time got a raw sausage and put it in a plastic bag and then put butter on the sausage on the outside of the bag and then started feeding people the sausage. And they would like, because there was butter and they were asleep, they kind of would like... they'd kind of lick it up, the butter. So they'd kind of be sucking this sausage dick thing. He was a genius at it.
But that's very respectable of putting it in a bag.
Yeah, he didn't put the raw sausage in the mouth.
But that's because that's, there was some white, like, certainly from in first Fairview, it would have been a raw sausage. It would have been like, it would have been paint in your mouth when you fell asleep.
Yeah, so
there was some seriously rough boys. Yeah,
gentler, bold. Yeah. But then there's one, and somebody like just really creative stuff people used to do on the boat. Somebody bought like a tween girls like makeup beauty kit, and had glitter, and he painted people's nails when they were asleep. It's so weird. They wake up with like glittery pink nails and different colors on each nail. Anyway, someone got sick on that bus, and because this glitter kit was bought, there was glitter all over the floor. And then someone puked, and then someone said, "Oh, he spilled his Coke," and we all thought it was Coke, and the puke started rolling down the bus, and then there was picking up all the glitter.
Oh my god,
disgusting! This is what happens at all boys. Like people say, like men are pigs. Like they actually are.
They actually are.
Like it's true.
Like you have to work very, very hard to maintain some sort of societal integrity. Like to like if there aren't specific rules on washing and keeping things clean and regularly clean, the place would be a big pukey,
and
glittery
Scouts
mess.
Does have that. Scouts does have, it's like if you have to be, if you're on those competition camps. So there's competition camps where you go and be the best at camping, whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to show how well you've planned your camp, how well you've organized your tent, where your tent is and where your cooking area is and your fire, and is there enough distance away from your wood chopping area that no one's going to be injured by the axe, all this kind of thing. And you get ranked on those. And part of that is they inspect your fingers and see if your hands are clean, make sure everyone's brushed their teeth. They don't like do a real check on that, but they ask you, have you brushed your teeth?
Open wide.
So, yeah, they don't like, come on now. But they'll check, and you have to be clean and presentable. So there's that element of kind of that army-ish stuff, but not as not aggressive as the army. If your hands were dirty in your inspection, they'd say, okay, go on up and make sure everyone clean their hands. Make it like it wouldn't be like, clean those hands, you little whatever. Yeah. It wasn't like that.
It certainly stopped me littering anyway, because I think that was the biggest thing is if obviously leave no trace. But if there was even like you see like a little Kit Kat wrapper and people were like, what the heck? Like they would freak.
Did you have to do those lineups where they make you clean the thing? Yeah,
everyone arm in arm and walking down and doing that.
Which somebody calls a womble walk.
So explain this because we know it. Of course, we know what it is.
So it's where at the end of your camp, you've packed up everything, and then you go to the edge of where your campsite was, and you all stand in a line, and then someone, maybe an older scout or a leader, says step, and then you take one step and look for any rubbish on the ground, and you pick up every single trace. Yeah. So that's why when I go to festivals now, music festivals, I'm disgusted at people. Obviously, most rational people are disgusted at that.
I thought you were going to say, I insist we do the one. When I go to festivals, I insist we do.
No,
wake up now, I haven't slept.
But I make sure that I get the bags, and I make sure I leave my rubbish. I even have like recyclables at festivals. I don't have any faith that they will not go to a landfill, but I hope. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, it disgusts me. I agree with that. A womble walk, someone called it. I don't like that. I'm like, that is...
It's too British.
It's British, and it's also like... Do you know, sometimes like... You know the way like you don't say, that's so gay anymore because we've all grown up, right?
I know, yeah.
But sometimes I miss that word. It's a helpful... Like calling it a womble walk, I'm like, God, that's so gay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can I go by in a kind of a time machine here to
I know.
use that sentiment? But yeah, that is.
I never used it. I only ever used it almost kind of like, you know, I don't know. I don't even know what. It was never gay. It was always just sort of like, you know, I just fucking do it. Like, you know, it's maybe there was hints of laziness to it, you know, or cowardice or something like that, or some that's how I would have used it without actually saying.
About saying that's so gay.
That's so gay. What if I ever used like that's so gay in a sentence like that?
Yeah.
Don't be gay. Just, you know, it's kind of like
people still do it. Grown up adult men.
I know they do. Yeah.
And they say it in front of gay people.
Well, I didn't know that anymore.
They do sometimes. I mean, it's less and less and less. Maybe people get better at hiding that kind of stuff, but like people go on stag do's and they tell you about it, like mad things. I don't know. Grow up.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so clean the rubbish. That's the thing. I think I like that. I do keep that respect for that nature kind of thing. Yes, take nothing but photos, leave nothing but footprints. That's a nice thing.
That's a lovely sentiment.
I do keep that, but also then about just being organised and planning and an emphasis on planning. Those are all really important tools for your life.
Do you think though those are where you sourced? You sourced your organization, your planning. We did a shared bit, and I was very impressed with your planning. I was very impressed with your kind of your organization of where the bits fit, and and there was some nice kind of paragraph shifting and stuff like that. Even when you were telling me how you're writing your show, and you're like, I have a great start, and I'm like, wow, you did chronologically. Wow, that's And for me, that's like, wow, that's super impressive. You went chronologically, you know.
Well, I love a big intro, so I think that's good. But yeah, I think Scouts is where I got that. We did this thing. This is afterwards in the Ventures. This is when I was 17. Me and my best friend, we went on this trip called the Explorer Belt. It's about a belt, like a literal belt. Mm-hmm. And you go to another country, you get dropped off a bus in teams of 2, and they have a map of the entire... We went to Portugal, and we had a map of the entire country of Portugal. You don't know where you are in Portugal. And they say you have 10 days to get back to... They give you a piece of paper that says where
like The Amazing Race?
Yes, it is like The Amazing Race, and it's truly like that. And you have a budget of something like €8 a day. You have a budget. You have a phone. You have emergency numbers to ring or whatever. But you go off on your own. So the first thing you do is go up to this man, or not. Well, could be a woman. I don't know. Depends on where you get dropped off. And we went up to this man and like, do you speak English? And he's like, no. And we're like, okay, well. Pointing at the map going, where are we in the country of Portugal? So then you realise, so you got 10 days, you got to walk a minimum of 200 kilometres, you have to do projects about the areas you pass through, and you have to keep a diary of what you're doing.
That's fucking amazing.
So cool. Like,
what scouts were you in? What's the group? This was
so when we didn't have Adventures, right? Mm-hmm. So Adventures is the older one. We went to like a ragamuffin Ventures that was like assembled from a few groups together, and it was called Scafia.
Oh, gnarly.
Which was called... Now, some people listening to this podcast will go, oh, I remember that. I remember them. Because we were famous. Scafia stands for Scouting Mafia. Right?
Oh, my God.
And our logo was...
So cool.
You know, the guy... Yeah, no, it was tongue-in-cheek. It was tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. But you know the logo of the Godfather holding the puppets?
Yeah,
So ours was the Scout hand, the Scout salute holding...
Brilliant.
Holding up something or whatever. I actually forget what was on it. But we had that. So then, but we were just kind of bold, and ours was a lot about partying more than anything else.
Yeah, but with the framework. So, I mean, when I was in Ventures, we went to Larch Hill.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, they had the big bell that they would kind of ring in the morning. And when we were Ventures, we went there, and we never took pride in the fact that we were scouts. It was just like, abide everything that they say so that they can take us to a field, and then we're going to leave the leaders and we're going to drink. And that was, you know, every single time. But we were obsessed with this bell for whatever reason, because we used to have this guy, this teacher called Mr. Graney. I've talked about him on the podcast before, and he used to... I'll bleep his name out. We had this teacher, and he used to like really treat like the schoolyard like he was like the warden. And like if anyone ran, he was like, I don't want to see any running. I don't want to see any mock fighting. If I see anything, you're out of here. And he would freak. And
what's the point of the yard then?
It was no rough and tumble. Everyone walking around, sometimes with our hands behind our back and a finger over our mouth.
Oh, weird, gross.
Weird. And then if anyone was like, if there was too many people sent over the line, they were people who were like messing around. They were sent over the line, which is essentially the teacher's car park. And if there was more than 5 people over the line, even if it was 15 minutes into the half an hour break, he would just shout, "Get the bell!" And he would send some kid to get the bell, and he would stop the break early. And he would only like go, be running the yard, maybe 3 times a year. And all the teachers hated it because then they had to stop their break early, you know, and everyone had to go back in and go into school.
What a creep.
So we were all in the same school. So we thought it'd be really funny in the middle of the night to sneak out and ring the bell and put on balaclavas and like kind of do a kind of stealth thing and shout, "Get the bell," and ring the bell. And so we did. And we snuck out. We rang the bell. The leaders thought, because of the balaclavas, we were like genuine, I don't know, I don't want to say terrorists, but like they seriously like grabbed us and were like, who the fuck are you? And like took off the masks and realized it's a bunch of adventurers. So we were the absolute embarrassment of First Fairview Scouts. And we weren't actually kicked off, but we were kind of highlighted for the rest of the camp as just, these are the bad boys. We weren't allowed to continue in any of the other kind of activities. So we had to clean and everything, but we were really made an example of. But that's what we wanted to do. Scaffia seems to have a lot of pride in the fact, like the skeleton of scouting with just a peppering of
we did things too. We went on hikes, we camped, we did, like when we camped, we didn't like do like what the younger ones do of like, we didn't build camp. We didn't build big gate posts or do any of that kind of stuff, but we mainly was like, we're going camping so we can all hang around.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And that's what we love. And that's our favorite. And then be bold. There was my best friend, I think it was Ben did this. My best friend Ben, shout out to Ben. There was on a national venture camp, they had those speakers, you know, like that they could play music all day and stuff. There'd be hundreds of young people there. And they had a CD. No, it wasn't Ben. It was Alan. And they had a CD. Do you remember that Pause for Porno? Is it Dr. Dre?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Pause for Porno? And it's basically like the noise of people having really loud porny sex. Like, At one point the girl says, "It's in my eye," which is one of my favorite bits. So we used to play that a lot. And he went into the tent that had this PA system that's plays to like 500 kids or whatever, and put on Pause for Porno. Yeah. So the whole place, it was, seldom have I experienced such joy as watching that kind of thing happen, of like suddenly every head in the place just like, it was like meerkats. Everyone just suddenly jumped up and going, what the hell's going on? There's playing sex noises over the radio. And then this little leader man, there's often a lot of people who are leaders who are little saps. Anyway, he was a little sap, and he went in and took out the CD and held it above his head and crushed the CD in his hand.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so he showed everybody, that's what I was like, okay, well, you turned it off, fine, but smashing the CD was like, you've made it worse for yourself. Now it feels like you want to do more. Anyway, I wasn't bold like that. I didn't do that kind of, I wasn't as extravagant as that, but like, yeah, that was good. But I think that's what Ventures is about, being bold in a kind of a safe environment. I think that was kind of it, really.
Yeah, it is. And I think, I don't know what it was. We went to like an annual, well, we never did a good annual camp. We never went anywhere. We went to Kerry every year, and we were promised like Italy. We were promised everywhere, and we never actually went to anything.
Well, the Ventures should be, it should be venture led. They should be leading their own program.
True. So, yeah. Well, we weren't to be trusted. So we did annual camp in Kerry, and we stayed in this big, massive campsite, and I had like bunk beds and stuff, and there was Americans staying up in the actual main like indoor kind of camp, and we were out in the field, and we got chatting to these Americans down while they were down kind of like, you know, kayaking down by where we were at the water. And
were you in Capnally?
Maybe.
Near Killorglin?
How many L's are in the things you just said?
Capnally is up in the mountains in Kerry near Killorglin, which is where the Puck Fair happens.
It might be if it's close to Carrantoul, then maybe, because
there's a Carrantoul trip. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, so we were there.
Great spot, Capnally. Look it up.
Great spot, and they used to have this massive boulder as you were pulling into the place.
Yeah,
it was actually a massive, like, because it was out in the middle of nowhere, so they had this massive boulder. As we were driving in, us Ventures saw that boulder, and we're like, "That's going down the fucking hill tonight.
Yeah, of course,
that is going down the hill tonight." And so we'd met these Americans, and they were like, "Hey, we're staying up in the thing." A mate of ours were like wanted to crack on to some of the girls who were there. So when we were drinking in our tent, we went up to the camp, and we went in and we started chatting to like the Americans there. We gave them some booze. One lad who he kept saying like, "Man, I only weigh like 85 pounds. I'm getting so smashed."
Oh god,
he was like so small. And so we got locked with them. We had a really good time. We left. We saw the boulder. We started digging underneath the thing to try and push it down. At one stage, my mate was this was like an 8-foot tall boulder. He was trying to pull it down on top of him at the bottom of the hill
this
just
is
to get
boys.
it down.
Stupid.
Boys are stupid. So we got the boulder down. It rolled down the hill, and we're like, yay! And it was like a great night. We woke up the next morning, and we found out that one of the Americans had called their parents saying, an Irish boy broke into the place last night and forced me to drink alcohol against my will.
Oh my God.
So our scout leader, Dennis, shout out Dennis, he was all like, he's gonna have to talk to each of us all individually. And my mate Jago, who he's doing a podcast with, he was like, I'm gonna speak to Jago last. And I always thought that was funny, being like, he almost highlighted, he's like, I know Jago's gonna snap. So we told him everything that happened. And then he was like, he heard the story, and he's like, you're after causing an international incident. You boys are after causing an international incident. And then my mate Ian, he said, look, we'll apologize for breaking into the camp. We'll apologize for giving the kids alcohol when they were like 17. But we will not apologize for pushing that boulder down the hill. That was a serious boulder. And he was like, okay, that's fair. And it was
just a boulder.
It was just a boulder, but it was a massive placeholder. Or it was a massive kind of like, point to be like, when you get to the boulder, turn right.
Okay, yeah.
And now the boulder was down the hill. But that was just the level that we were just causing absolute international incidents and ruckus. But, maybe had we been given more responsibility, as you're saying, be more venture-led.
So cute when you think back on things like that. You think when you're that age, like 16 or whatever, you think you're real grown up. But then you still have to bargain. Okay, well, we'll go and we'll say we're sorry. Like, it's no different to two little children. Shake hands. Come on now, shake hands. Say sorry. Yeah. And you're still involved. I don't know, there's something sweet about it, I think. Even though you're doing bold stuff and you're drinking and people are soon to be riding or already riding or whatever, you still are child.
You're still a little child.
You'll still go, okay, I will go and apologize. Yeah, I'll say sorry.
I'm sorry. See? I'm sorry. My phone went off.
That's okay. But I think genuinely it's a good thing. I wish everybody had the chance to spell, like, I think Billy Connolly wrote about it really nicely about being in Scouts. Something about even just the smell of wood smoke. Anyone who was in Scouts will tell you that if they've been at somewhere with an open fire or someone's party or something, and then the next day when they shower, that smell of the smoke comes out of your hair and it's on your clothes and stuff, and it just makes you feel joyous. I think I wish was part of school or something, that there was some kind of outdoor pursuit part of school, not like conscription to the army or anything like that, but something. Because I think it's really genuinely is a good thing for young people and building resilience, which sometimes is a really hard-earned resilience where they go, I'm having the worst time ever. My feet are wet. I lost my this and I can't find my Swiss Army knife that my dad just got me, and they're having a miserable time, but they survive it. That's the whole point. They learn, they survive it. And I wish everybody could learn those skills. Like, I couldn't believe when I'd be going to school and people be such like big tough guys in my school. My Scouts was a lot posher than my school. We were kind of thought of us. We were thinking the only ones who didn't go to fee-paying school in our Scouts, so we were people thought we were like dog rough or something. Compared to some of these wealthy Protestants. Just for the record, we weren't Protestant.
I don't think Protestants belong in Scouting Ireland.
There's two. So there was
two lads.
No, there was two organisations. There was the Catholic Boy Scouts of Ireland and the Scouting Association of Ireland. So I was in that one, that people called the Protestant one, but then they merged. Yeah. I voted in the merge when I was, 14.
See, that's the thing. Protestants just do it better. Protestants do scouting better. Protestants do, like my mate Alan, he's a fashion designer, and, like, he's got to be, he's a Protestant. Like, it's the only way. It's like your parents said, absolutely, great. You told them what you wanted to do, and they were like, great. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Where is he? Are you leading with your heart?
Is that what that is? Protestant? Is that
Protestants are just so confident, so joyous.
I always put that down to, like, I look at, like, other comedians and I'm like, how are they so confident? How are they? I'm doing this now. I'm going to try this, and now I'm going to stick my name in this, and I'm going to go for it. I'm like, don't you hate yourself?
If they're either done, which
that's
is
what
clear.
I feel like all the time. Like, I was like, well, I'm crap or I'm terrible, and like you could, like, I don't know. Is that what that is? I always thought it was
either they're
very
stupid or they're Protestant, and I think you can tell the difference between the two. Like, anyone that has the gumption, being, I'm just going to do this now. I'm just going to actually launch some NFTs.
Yeah, this is the people who do things like that. Like, this is my NFT.
Yeah.
I was going to say podcast, but then we're on a podcast. But, like, you're good at a podcast, so I don't include you in that.
Well, I did actually. I remember when we were having a drink, and I told you that I was going to re-release some of my characters as NFTs, and I've never seen a bigger eye roll
Did I do that?
Yeah, but you were dead right. It was like it's such a naff opportunistic, greedy thing. Because I'm not buying any fucking NFTs, so why would I ever release Plune as an NFT? It's
but seldom. I think seldom.
No,
an idiot. It's an idiot will buy them.
No, your impulse was all I needed to know.
Yeah.
About it, and I'm grateful for it.
I don't read into too much of that stuff because I'm just like, well, that's completely stupid. I don't know how there is such chatter about it.
Yeah, it is stupid.
Like I haven't muted it on Twitter or anything. I keep abreast of things. You know, it's my responsibility as a comedian.
Oh,
we're the court jester. We have to keep abreast of what's going on in the world. But like, that's so stupid. I'm like, what an idiot! You're an idiot. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I've sometimes I see someone talk about monkeys recently. I'm like, that's something to do with NFTs. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
That's all you hear. It's going in.
Yeah, I'm like,
coming out the kind of dark side of the moon prism. Just you're an idiot.
Yeah,
you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
You're a fool for doing that.
Yeah,
you should have done that.
What's scouting look like, or what's camping and kind of outdoorsy stuff look like for you now?
Not that much. Not that much. No, I don't do that much. I actually think about stand up, right? Where a lot of how I learned how to do stand up comes from doing the scout campfires. So the campfire is the bit where everybody gathers together. Well, there's always a fire because you cook on a fire, but then there are these things, the campfire. So we didn't redo them very much when I was younger, but then into ventures, and then we'd mix with other groups, and there was campfires that went on. And I eventually got to the point where somehow I was running the campfire. Someone is kind of the chief of the campfire. And me and my friend Ben would do it together. And we did it just kind of because someone couldn't come. So we're like, we'll do it. And then we turned out to really enjoy it and had our own way of doing it. And we're really inappropriate. We were 16 and the kids were like 12, and we were like said a lot of rude things.
They must have thought you were so
they must have thought
cool.
we were deadly, yeah, because we say loads of rude things, and eventually it became that some parents complained about the rude songs, like really rude songs.
Really rude.
Was one song called Friggin' in the Riggin'.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was about
friggin'. Yourself.
Yeah, friggin' in the rigging. It was about a ship and people frigging in the rigging of the ship.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and it has.
I thought it was like graphic. I thought you were going to be like some insanely graphic.
No abuse or anything like that. There's one. The first mate's name was Liam. He built a great machine. This fucking thing, it lost a screw and crushed his balls to cream. Friggin' in the rigging. There's fuck all else to do. So yeah, but there's a lot of that's very rude if you're 11.
Yes, it is.
The captain's dog was Rover. The crew, they fucked him over. He scraped his cock on every rock from Holyhead to Dover.
See, I'm even enjoying it now. That's great. So
I'm trying to think.
Don't die.
Yeah, sometimes they're great. And there was one. Did you do a campfire with songs? People singing songs?
There was that, and we'd show up and just be the absolute trolls, you know. We're just vacuous losers, ironic. I spent the first 27 years of my life just living in this perpetual state of irony, you know, without being able to commit to being genuine.
I would have loved to be the campfire chief if yous came along being like, we're too cool for this.
You would have.
I loved it because the campfire chief is very like being a stand-up comedian, because you're keeping an eye on the room. You know where there's a group of like, okay, they're loud girls, so you save something rude for them, or you just go, hurry, louder girl, shout at them, and they go, ah, my god, and scream. You know that, and then when they scream, other people enjoy that. So you like to pick out who's there. If there's some leader that the kids seem to really like, you get him to do something embarrassing, and they love it or whatever, that kind of thing. So it's very like reading the room like that. So if I had boys like yous who thought they were too cool, I would have made fun of yous, and then yous would have become the losers in the situation rather than the irony winners in the corner.
No, and to be fair, there was seldom few. I think we just knew who to kind of like be trolls to, because we never really got. Well, I don't know. Probably did get one up, but you know, you're like took water off a duck's back when you're like five lads just being troll
with hoods and hats.
Would you consider? I mean, if I was some sort of hypnotist, I would try and condition you to be in a state of you being the fire master, and when you're on stage and viewing all of the the audience, like 11-year-olds who are just finding everything just so cool, and you embodying the look at me, I'm an old older fire master here, and you're just here to enjoy this, because that's just for fun, isn't it? Just this.
Just
joy.
Be
a fire master for this, just for playing.
Just joy. And I had a list of the songs that we were going to get through, and then different people. I always wanted it to be that lovely thing where somebody would sing some beautiful song, like someone would sing an Irish song, but no, there was never any real singing. So, I mean, occasionally throughout the years, but never any real singing. I don't know. This feels like a whole weird conversation. I feel like I'm like, this isn't interesting enough or cool enough to talk about, and now I'm like,
this is great.
What is it?
This is brilliant. This is exactly the. But on the modern kind of camping, is it something that you? I mean, you obviously said you bring a lot of kind of you're very sustainable when you go to festivals and that sort of thing. But,
I don't go camping a lot. I don't go walking a lot. But I mean, I enjoy it when I do it. Camping, pretty much as camping is now, I do festivals. Ireland isn't an easy place to just go camping.
No, I did. We went wild camping last year, and this was like my first trip out after Sonny was born, and I was trying to I had the whole weekend. Told Terry I'm away for the whole weekend. I had like a boot full of cans. It was like we're going hard. It's just drinking a lot of cans in the woods. We went wild camping, found this spot. Woke up the next morning, realized it was in the middle of a kind of a dirt bike track.
Oh god!
So these lads didn't realize they had to go all the long way around. It was like, and we were meant to be there the whole weekend. We were planned to hike up to this old dolmen that was at the top of a hill.
Nice,
but it was literally like just a place like out like 5 kilometers far from Tala. It wasn't too far. There's some great spots out there.
There is,
but we didn't even last. I don't think we even lasted 10 hours until we.
Oh really?
Yeah. I wanted to stay, but everyone was just. I was driving, and the lads were like, "Can you please just take us home?" Everyone just went so hard on the first night. It's just, but it's the same as being on the bus, but it's a glitter puke. It's just like you don't know. You need reins. You need some sort of control. I would have loved my thing was just the fire, the walk the next day. I got new hiking shoes and everything like that. Now I did drink all of my cans on the first day, but I was willing to keep going.
Yeah.
But that's kind of. But as I get older now, I'm thinking I just want that connection. I watch video after video of tying knots and kind of crafty outdoorsman sort of stuff, survivalist stuff.
Did you watch Ray Mears when he was on TV when we were kids?
I did like Ray Mears. I loved Ray Mears. And then Bear Grylls, which was just like, well, I'm not going to do that shit. Then Bear Grylls was all like, yeah, that's popcorn, but I'm not gonna be doing that shit. Ray Mears is more kind of.
You could do some of the Ray Mears. Shit. Ray Mears.
He was an educator.
Yeah, was like a former. I think he was also former SAS, like Bear Grylls, or former military of some kind anyway. And he would just do like survival, but it was based in like England, so it was like very like our own terrain here. And he would just do like, you'd be fascinated as a scout at home watching it. You'd be like, I'm going to definitely try all that. And you did. Like stuff like how lighting fires by peeling down getting like the way you'd peel an apple, but doing it to a stick.
Yeah.
And then that becomes like little kindling bits, whatever. And he would build shelters in really mad ways.
Have you started a fire with no spark?
No, and it is my I actually think of it all the time. I'm like,
me too though. I genuinely do.
I know, and I've watched Ray Mears enough times. I'm like, okay, you make a bow, you have a rope, you wrap it around, you spin it around, you cut it a chink out of the wood, you get it down, that becomes hot. I'm like, I know the system, but I haven't done it yet. I think that's what, if we spent less time being party boys in the ventures, that's what we should have been doing.
Yes.
So I'm like, some partying, that's fine, but you should also try stuff like that. Just try. Yes,
we had very accessible bucket list stuff, is to start a fire with your bare hands.
Yeah, and it's doable.
It is
even
doable.
now, obviously, we're all conditioned from watching whatever our generation watched as kids. Seemed to be a lot of people making fire by rubbing sticks together.
Yeah.
Just literally rubbing 2 sticks together as if they're going to burst into flames.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that works if it's soft wood in the Rocky Mountains or something.
Exactly. We don't have, our wood is just too bloody wet.
The whole country's so damp, Tony.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's so damp.
Do you know what's so frustrating though? Is I probably passed my peak of having amazing forearm muscles when I was 17. Just being a perpetual wanker. I probably would have been incredible and would have I could have probably gone 4 hours of just nonstop bowing.
Yeah.
Now Jesus, be lucky to get 5 minutes of bowing time.
5 minutes apiece. Look at
oh my god! No.
Can't even go. Look to go to the toilet. I don't have children. I don't know why I'm joining in.
Fine,
I should have time to go and whittle and whatever else.
We should go camping.
Okay.
Well, I was trying to take you up dogging today, and we were trying to do this podcast in my car in Phoenix Park. And
do you know why I couldn't do I'm like, okay, but then I was like, because we'd have to sit beside each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, how will we do it?
I don't know. You're right. So just for the listener, I suggested to Shane that I pick him up from his house and we drive to Phoenix Park and we stare at the woods and do the podcast. And we were texting back and forth, and there was a pause when I said that. I'm like, oh, he's not into that idea at all. And then I said, of course, here where I have a studio, and you were like, yeah, that's far better idea than sitting in your fucking car.
Because I said to Ray, I was like, Tony said something about doing it in the car, but he's still typing. That's what I said to Ray last night, and I was like, I don't know. He said do it in the car, lol, but he's still typing. And Ray was like, well, I don't know. Is he joking? I was like, I don't know.
Do you explain? Do you talk to Ray about when you're in the middle of a chat and you're like, oh, Because that's very, you'd be like, oh, they're still typing and you're in the middle of a chat. Like, do you kind of look to him to kind of help you analyze texts before they're about to arrive?
Yes, we do a lot of that. Or talk
That's
about
great.
somebody who's work emailing and say, she sent me this thing saying this. And we do a lot of that. Yeah, tic-tac. And well, we wrote that home for the past however long.
Yeah.
Ray's at home full time all the time. So am I. So it's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Nothing else to be talking about.
Yeah, you become part of. That's the weird. This pandemic is ongoing. The symptoms of a pandemic becomes ongoing. It's like, yeah, now you also work with your partner. Like, yeah, I know everything you're doing. I know when you hear all his calls and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's weird.
Have you found the kind of when he says something and he has barely even given you like an adjective or a noun, and you kind of know exactly what he's talking about, and you finish his thought?
About in life,
just in general, just like I found that from being with Terry, like she's like that thing, and I know exactly what she's talking about.
Oh, we know what she feels about the thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting time. This is totally separate to everything, but like we moved in to this house at the same week as the pandemic started. So and if you judge it by how relationships work at the time where we're supposed to be finishing up honeymoon and separating, and to weave back in and out of each other's lives, whatever. We were intensely cramped together, so you have to do some work on that.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's difficult to set. Because I don't have any boundaries, and I kind of want. I would have been with Terry being like, see me all the time, and then I would have been in my head being like, oh God, why are we seeing each other? Like I'm like that kind of very laid on thick. A friend of mine when I worked in sales, he gave me this tip, and he was like, here's how you get boundaries. Every third thing that they suggest you do, you decline.
Really?
Yeah, so they say like, oh, do you want to see my friends this weekend? Great. Do you want to hang out with my parents? Great. Do you want to go to my mate from college's thing? No, I'm busy. And every third thing, and then he still does it now, I think, for having moved in with his partner. He just kind of, he still has that kind of, oh no, I'm not around all the time.
Yeah, but I feel like Terry would be much more on that kind of emotional side of things and be like, well, no, we're not seeing each other every single day.
Yeah, no, she would be. Yeah, she would be quite. Yeah, she would. But it's weird the things you can just kind of. I know we're talking about something completely different, but do you ever see it in relationships where people are like, "Oh, look, just help me. I just need help with structure," and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, what is this? Prison here? Prison warden?" People who kind of like turn away. They kind of snub the hand that puts structure on you.
You tweeted something the other day about the something urge to solve her problems when she wants you to listen to the problems.
Yeah,
and I was like, I've heard of that before. From a feminist point of view of men always trying to solve the problem. And then I was like, that's not just a feminist thing or a women's thing. I was like, I need to be more mindful of that.
Yeah.
I was like, we're both men in our relationship, but I'm like, I do it all the time. Raymond goes, this, whoever, Maria, just emailed me and she said this. And I'm like, why don't you email back and say, I'm like, that's not what he wants. He wants me to go, what a bitch.
Does he
though? That's what he wants. I don't know. I think so. Not all the time, but I think sometimes I dismiss things because I'm like, oh, that's for straight people. As if like, like gay people don't have the exact same emotional investment in each other or whatever. I sometimes dismiss it and go, well, that's for straight people to be worried about. It's not to do with me. It doesn't do with me. Some things, true.
Some things, yeah. No, I don't know. I just have a very bad habit of I just don't know. I don't get the point of kind of talking about something being awful,
Oh yeah.
And I just but that's my problem, and I just need to kind of sit and listen and kind of I just
that's
get
healthy.
Over that
that's
urge.
it. I think just even that, that's my problem. I have to just sit and listen. That's what I think. People make a big fuss nowadays about how to be better at being alive.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Whereas actually, some of it's just simple. Of like, just keep checking.
Yeah.
And it takes time at your own pace. Just keep checking. Am I doing enough? Am I like, sometimes I've like basic remedial things I'm catching myself on. I don't know whether it's pandemic, but I'm like, am I doing anything enough? Am I leaving this house enough? Yeah. I've become very cozy, very comfortable sitting home. Like, wait a minute. When was the last time I like did anything? I'm like, wait a minute. And then because we kind of stayed between the first two lockdowns, we kind of stayed doing nothing. I'm furious about it now. I'm like, there was like 6 cases. It was like, better stay home. I was like, get out, get drunk, have fun. Whatever. But like, yeah, did that. Like, but yeah, I don't know why we're talking about that now. About generally keeping in the maintenance of yourself.
Yeah. How do you? I was gonna
You can try and weave it back to Scouts.
No, I was going to say, and I'm like, that's not where. How do you rate your current mental health at the moment? I was going to say, but we don't need to talk about that.
Well, I'll tell you. At the moment, I feel this is the thing. Now, we joked at the beginning talking about like comedian, whatever.
Yeah.
But do you have this right now? And this doesn't have to be on record or whatever.
Sure.
It currently is being recorded, but whatever.
Yes.
Like there's bits where you go through and you're like, I was actually going to ask this on Twitter, and then I was like, I'm not doing that because I'm not. Twitter's obviously stupid.
No, you're.
But for people who maybe for anyone, whether it's a creative person or not, those bits where you go, weeks where you go, well, I'm not good at it. You just can't get through the sludge of going, oh, the doubt and the not even doubt, fully convinced, the badness. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. It's like, I feel like the basic word for it is confidence. At the moment, I'm really going, oh, I have to get through. I know I'll stop feeling it.
Yes.
At the moment, I'm like, I'm so bad at it. God, what am I doing? Get another job. Like something like that. That's what I'm thinking a lot about at the moment.
I have that now, but I will say, because this is and I don't even know how I rank my other hours that I've done. I mean, technically this is my third, but the first one was just incredibly slapdash, and the second one was like what I have so far. I've thought this every single time, and then I just ramp up really quick close to a deadline, and that's just kind of how I work. So this feeling that I'm doing nothing. I watched Limmy kind of talk about his writing process for Limmy's show, and he had 6 months to write it, and he's like, in the second season, he's like, so I just went to the cinema and I lived my life, and I knew that there's a subconscious part of me that takes things in, and that is as important as the kind of sitting down and staring at that blinking cursor that's asking you to write something right now, you idiot. So I still feel like that now, but it's dampened compared to the other two, where I was like, I'm an absolute fucking fraud. And I have to say as well, I have found, because of more I don't even want to say alternative comedians coming up, but because more kind of like viral comedians and video and sketch comedians are around, and I've gotten to know them, I kind of feel like I have a better sense of humor with them than I do some kind of like, and not to have, to slag anyone off, but like I feel like I have more in common with them than the people who I would have been at stand-up shows 3 years ago. And I think that they also find me funnier than those people found me who like 3 years ago doing stand-up. So I realized then that I wasn't actually shit. I just wasn't really. I was shitter, but I also wasn't around the people who liked that sort of thing. And I'm not for everyone, and everyone isn't for everyone.
No.
Yeah. So those two things have kind of, I don't know, culled that thing that I'm shit. And I'm also conscious of the fact. I think I talked about this in the pod before, that like I remember doing a show where I just finished the Sugar Club, and it was a sold out show, and I was walking to get the Lewis, and I saw, a comedian had just finished like doing like the Inter, and I was all like, look at them doing actual fucking comedy. They're just have to do the Inter, and I'm like, me a sack of shit. What's my? And I'm like, whoa, and just having to catch that and be like, like why am I valuing that over what? Just catching your brain at those kind of moments as well, which I've done. Just time.
It's good to be on your own ass, though. It's good to be whipping yourself a little bit, I think.
It is.
But
I think some people are too soft.
Some people do.
No, but the whole, like, just forgive yourself and allow everything. It's like, that's okay to a point. I was kind of doing that in the last 2 years. I think I've gotten pretty lazy.
But there has to be some discipline as well.
There has to be some discipline.
There has to be some discipline. Yeah. That's why they call these things a discipline.
Yes.
Like, and I'm not saying comedy is on a par with like ballet discipline.
Well,
and it's not as demanding as that.
No.
But it is very, I don't know, it is very hard. I remember talking to Peter McGann over at some point on Instagram. He won't mind me saying. But I said something like, oh, I don't know, putting up the videos, I'd be very nervous every single time. And then he was like, oh, here's your brother. And I was like, he gets nervous? I'm like, of course he does. Everyone does. So, but I enjoyed a lot. Someone who I think is so, like Peter, is so clever and funny and so cool, I think, what he does on the internet and in real life. But like, and he was like, I was like, he's worried about it, because I feels like he doesn't give a fuck. He just does his thing. But I like that, and worked with him again after. I like that, learned that he like really cares about what he's doing.
But also what I love about Peter is he is such a fan. He is just such an enthusiastic fan, and that's not even him. Like, he's not doing it just to chat to. Like, he just cheers on everything. And it lights a fire under him in the best possible way, but it's never like, fuck that guy,
Isn't this nice that our scout references are now blocking up or filling in this conversation?
Yeah.
You lit a fire under him. Yeah, that's great.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
But so I actually did, lastly on that, it doesn't have to be lastly, but I did have someone ask me, because I was talking about the morning show, which we're editing at the moment, which will be hopefully out soon, which I'll tell you more about off air. And I was listening to some of the people who were in it, and a friend of mine was like, who's the biggest asshole? Like, who's, of all those kind of like, internet comedians, who's the asshole? And I'm like, what's so amazing is no one's an asshole, because we're all really sensitive bedroom comedians.
Yeah.
And we all kind of have the same kind of like, we don't really think we're better than anyone. Everyone thinks they're shit.
I came home from that with no bitching to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't give out about anybody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fun sometimes.
No, it is.
Especially, like, I mean, it's nerve-wracking to go into a room with people, like 8 people you haven't worked with before, some you haven't met before. It's nerve-wracking. And then for it to go real nice was like, oh, wow, what a treat.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think it is that thing of we're all like, oh, no, I'm the worst. He's the best. She's the best. I think that's why it kind of works, because we're just like, are you terrified? Yeah, me too. Okay.
Yeah.
But then some people are just cool. Emma Doran's really cool.
Yeah,
she's just really cool all the time.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Like I did when we came the first gig back after the lockdowns, whatever. We did an hour-long show together, half an hour each, and I was like shitting. I'd been working so hard trying to get it ready. Was so nervous. I was like, I had tracks to play. Emma comes down literally 5 minutes before, and she's like, "Hey," doesn't give a. She's just really cool. Not doesn't give a shit, but is just really cool.
I think she has.
She's had it a long time.
She's had a long
time.
She won't mind us saying this, a long time. No, but she also has that like that mam energy, which is all like, I've got a fucking hour here, so there's no time to be faffing around with that shite.
Yeah.
And me thinking that this isn't good. I have to just do it,
There's more important things to think about as well.
Big time.
Like there's other things going on. Yeah.
Well, look, I've taken up a lot of your time.
Yeah. Well, I liked it.
I agree, me too. And I do think we should get all the internet comedians out scouting and camping sometime. RTE, are you listening? Hello? Oh. Comedians go camping?
Oh my God, let's make that
we
show. Actually take that off the thing. Let's pitch it. Yeah.
Shane, have you anything you'd like to plug?
Yes, I have a show coming up in the Liberty Hall on the March 26th. So if you don't have tickets to Tony that night, come and see me instead.
Very excited.
And tickets are on Ticketmaster. There's not that many left, which is good. I was quite relieved. I thought they were going to say, you've sold 12. But they're like, no, there's very few left. So
that is brilliant.
You'd need to buy them now, searching Shane Daniel Byrne on Ticketmaster.ie.
And I can say, based on what you've told me, some of the bits that are going to be in it is a night to remember. Will be, rather.
I hope so.
I think so.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
I think it's going to be great. Shane, thank you very much for coming to my house.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting for me. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
What
a pleasure.